What's up, everybody? It's David Jones here at WInDailySports.com here with my man Nick in Week 11. Say what's up, Nick.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful night. Probably not as good as Javi's last night. I think he had a six-figure payday on the NBA, so congrats to him first and foremost.
It's David Jones
But it's NFL time. Let's do it.
Dude, yeah, I was on the phone with Javi all last night. This guy won 140 something thousand dollars at around like on the SiriusXM show live. It was crazy, man.
That's awesome.
He's just absolutely crushing it. I mean, congrats to you, man. We're happy you're part of the family. We're happy you were able to share some of those picks with our guys in the Discord channel. I mean, just unbelievable. So congratulations. But hey, it's football. We're gonna do it again today. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and beat Javi's $140,000. I stayed up extra late last night to try and get an edge. So cool. Let's just jump right in. First game we got on the slate is going to be the Detroit-Dallas game. Nick, do you have any hot takes from this? Where's your head at on it, buddy?
I do not have a whole lot of exposure to this game. I think Zeke's for sure in play. He's pretty expensive on DraftKings, though, $9K. I would like to see a lot more catches out of him. I think his player prop's only at 3. And if Dallas runs away with this game, it doesn't seem like a great script for Zeke there. But I love I'm not going to say love, I guess, but I really like Dallas's passing game. Just the whole thing is, can Detroit keep it close? And I am not sure about that at all.
Yeah, I'm considering the Cowboys defense. Are you looking at them at all?
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you usually, where I like to play defense at home, but it's in a dome. There's no weather concerns or anything, and Detroit's just not good without Matt Stafford. So yeah, they're certainly in play. I like Hawkinson a bit on the Detroit side. If I'm going to play anybody, I think it's that. I'm not going to pay up for Galladay or roll the dice with Marvin Jones. That's just I'm only interested in that when Stafford's there. But I mean, Zeke's price is $9K on DraftKings. What is he? I think he's cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings, and that's pretty rare. So and that's not bad then.
Yeah, it's not bad. He's only $400 more than Josh Jacobs. So what I've been doing is like McCaffrey, Jacobs, and Brian Hill are my top 3 running back guys. But with Zeke sitting there only $400 more than Josh Jacobs, I'm finding myself getting a lot of McCaffrey, Zeke, and Hill teams. It's hard to fade Zeke when he's at the same price as Jacobs. I know the matchup's great for both of them. Actually, Zeke has if you're looking at opponent rank, better rank, but I think the Bengals are worse than Detroit at stopping the run. So I don't know. I've got 4 running backs, and I'm just kind of mixing them through. As far as like Dak goes, I always like Dak. I like these dual threat quarterbacks. He could vulture a touchdown from Zeke here, but it also does kind of feel like, okay, Zeke's kind of been dragging a little bit. He's not been explosive as he was in years past. He's not having those multiple touchdown games. It kind of feels like a get Zeke going game and don't hurt the quarterback game. So I can see him just putting his nose down and running. Amari Cooper, always elite. I don't think they're going to have to launch it to him downfield a couple times. I could definitely see him getting a touchdown. I mean, this guy's fantastic. And I've heard a lot of Michael Gallup talk this week. I'm not necessarily on him. I love him as a wide receiver, too, for Dallas. I think they have a special team going for him right now. But I might throw him in a couple milli makers, just not really on him a lot for the same reasons I'm not as much on Cooper, because I think it's a run day.
I mean, Gallup's 6,500 on DraftKings. That's a bit much for him. I'm with you. I'm only gonna play it in maybe a milli maker, a large field. If I do a full on Dallas stack, I'll use them, but that's about it. That price is brutal.
Yeah, like how is Detroit going to score here? You've got Driscoll coming in, which, Driscoll's been around for a minute. Last game at Chicago, it was pretty good, really. He had 269 passing yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, that's respectable for sure at Chicago. That's pretty good. But I'm just not going to put a lot of stock in it. There's other games that I like to target. In season long, I think you're still rolling with Kenny Galladay. You can probably get off Marvin Jones. But aside from that, I'm not really on this game at all.
Yep, there's just too many good spots. This shouldn't be a high-scoring game, really. I mean, maybe Dallas, but that's about it.
Yeah, I might parlay that Dallas money line with like the Patriots or something like that. But yeah, other than that, we're gonna keep moving on. The next game we got on the slate here is going to be let's do Houston Baltimore. I don't see my schedule right now, so that's the first thing I see on FanDuel, and this is the big game, guys. So this is the has the highest scoring total on the slate. Lamar Jackson is going to be my guy here. I got off him too much last week, and he just has the best floor on the slate for quarterbacks. He's going up against Houston, who's ranked 24th in pass defense. He can run it, he can throw it. You know the deal. You've seen how special he is. He's going to be on my main team. And I don't even think I'm going to pair him with anyone because I don't think I'm going to be able to fit him. But Mark Andrews would be my top choice. And then I'd go down to Hollywood Brown. You see any other sneaky Ravens in there that you want to pair with Lamar? And are you on Lamar?
I am 1,000,000% on Lamar. This is the best spot for him, I think, all season. I mean, when's the last time that Houston or that Baltimore has had a competitive game, right? I think it's
Right.
like week 5 or week 6. And Lamar has gotten 30 plus, I think, a couple times in between those games. So this is he always gets it done with his feet, right? I think he's like running back 11 on the year, and he's a quarterback. So the legs are going to be there. The rushing yards are going to be there. The rushing touchdown equity is obviously there. This is a game that if it's projected to be close, I think Baltimore's only like a 4-point favorite, 4.5-point favorite, and the total's extremely high. So Vegas really likes Houston's ability here to keep it close. With Deshaun Watson, you can never write him out either. But this is a game that Lamar Jackson is going to have to use his arm too, and we really haven't had that game script in damn near 2 months. So
Yep.
I don't see how Lamar doesn't get 30 points here. There's really no weather concerns. Houston secondary is brutal. I like Hollywood Brown the most. I'm not going to pay up for Mark Andrews at all. He's 6,100. That's just too much on a week where it sounds like we have to play either a Michael Thomas or McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson 7,700 on DraftKings himself. So that's a big hit in your salary right there. But I think it's 100% worth it. He's my favorite quarterback for cash. He's my favorite quarterback for GPPs.
Yeah. Do you have like projections on ownership? I don't tend to look at those.
Yeah, he's going to be like right around 10, which
Oh,
I think
gosh.
is extremely low.
Yeah.
So because people can't really pay for him. Everybody's going to Kyle Allen. I mean, we can get to that game when we get to that game, but Lamar Jackson should be 15+%. He's just not going to be because salaries. It's tough to afford him.
Yeah, you've
But
got people trying to go down and get Allen and trying to get Carr and these other guys, and I get the spots that they're in are good, but they just don't have the floor and the ceiling as Lamar. And as you said, he's not going to get pulled this game, right? He got pulled last game. He got pulled
right.
in week 1, just because he's crushing these guys so bad. So Lamar Jackson, give me all the Lamar Jackson. I think I might just use 2 quarterbacks in GPPs this week, and that's going to be him and this other guy we'll mention later.
Yeah, I'm going to take a hard stand on Lamar Jackson. It's like the only path for his success is if Houston could keep it close, Lamar's going off. And he's going to go off. He'll have a great game regardless. But if Houston could keep it close, that's really all you need to happen for Lamar to go off. So that's a pretty easy path to success there with Lamar.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the other side coming back, I mean, the Houston's going to have to score. There's no Will Fuller, so what are you going to do? I mean, that guy's elite, 3 touchdown catches, like it's nothing. But DeAndre Hopkins is, going to be the number 1 targeted guy. Duke can catch it out of the backfield. You've got a couple sneaky wide receivers down here, and Kenny Stills and Kiki Kuti. Kuti has not done much this season, but he was hurt for a while, and then you had Fuller in there for a little bit. I remember a time last year when Kuti was putting up numbers, and he's getting the targets now. He just hasn't got in the end zone. He could be a very sneaky millie maker type guy. Do not play him in cash. Do not play him in 100-man tournaments. But if you're trying to get lucky on, a long, 60-yard bomb to give you whatever 15 points at 4,800 on FanDuel, probably cheaper on DraftKings, you can look his way. The more reliable receiver over there is going to be Kenny Stills. Kind of the same deal. You're going to need a long bomb, and they're kind of splitting targets now. Do you have a lean on any of these Houston wide receivers?
I think the only Houston, because this is a great game to stack in general. So if I'm going to use Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown, that lineup, obviously, for them to have a big day, we need Houston to go off. So I do have some interest in Houston. It's just it's tough to afford them. I'm out on Kiki Kuti. I think he's probably going to see a ton of Marlon Humphrey, who is a really good slot cornerback. And I don't know, Kiki Kuti doesn't have game-breaking speed or anything like that. I just really don't see the upside there. If it's a game stack and it's a punt to get some salary relief, you could always do that. We talk about that every week, but he's not one of my Darius Slayton type of guys this week at all. I'm not going to pay down to that. I do like Johnson a great bit on DraftKings, so 4K, he opens up the world for your salary. So a lot of my builds are going to have on GPPs are going to be Lamar, Hollywood Brown, and then Duke Johnson.
Do you prefer Duke Johnson over Brian Hill?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But in a GPP, I don't know. Well, we could talk about Brian Hill in a little bit, but for cash, no, just go all Brian Hill there. Just eat the chalk because everybody's going to play him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Duke Johnson, I would only use him in lineups that I'm using Lamar and or Hollywood Brown.
I got a name for you. How about Darren Fells? In the past 2 weeks, he has 3 touchdowns. He's got 9 targets. High scoring game. No one's talking about him. 5,100. Probably prefer him over Kuti, who I just mentioned because we're talking about the game. I don't really love him. What do you think about Fells? Any interest there?
Yeah, the red zone targets are there. That's a great guy. He's going to be a 1% owned type of guy. And again, I would only use him in lineups that you're using Lamar Jackson or some of these Ravens guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a great price, 3,800 on DraftKings. I really didn't think about him a whole lot because I think you all know who I love on DraftKings this week at the tight end position. But yeah, Fells is certainly in play in that game script narrative. Sorry, I was at a wedding last night, had some bourbon. The mind's not as sharp today. But yeah, it felt that's a sharp play though. I like it a lot more large field tournaments just because is the volume going to be there? I mean, he's putting up points. If I don't like Kuti, I need to like somebody other than D Hop.
That's right. That's right. Hey, man, Tate, will you take a look at the YouTube questions? I have to run downstairs and grab my charger. Or you're going to be doing the show
For sure. All right. Chris Brewer's the first question. Is Hill chalk trap? So Brian Hill in cash, absolutely not. Just play it because it's a free square that we always want to play. I think, 40% or more. He'll probably be 70% owned in cash games. You just have to play him because if he goes off, you can't be the 30% that doesn't have him in a 50-50 because you're kind of pretty much already eliminated unless you find some upside elsewhere. In a tournament, I don't think I like him as much because there's some other guys on DraftKings specifically that are cheaper that I like more. But Brian Hill's a good runner. Carolina's dead last in run defense DVOA, so that's pretty big. I think this is a good spot for Hill. It's not like Balaj last week. I was a hard pass on that, or 2 weeks ago, whenever Balaj chalk week was. I think Brian Hill's in a much better spot here. There's no Hooper either, so Hill should have a big workload along with those receivers. That is my long answer to that question, Chris. Can we sneak in some thoughts on yardage on Monkey Knife Fight? I'm not a big Monkey Knife Fight guy. I just don't have the time for it, but I will try to get to that today potentially. Maybe David does. And then with who's this here? Scrimp Daddy with a Panther stack. Would you do Allen, CMC, and a receiver, or Allen and one or the other? Yeah, you could. Yeah, absolutely do that. That's fine. Carolina's going to score a lot of points today. I don't think a lot of people are going to use McCaffrey with Kyle Allen. It's a good way to get different, and McCaffrey's one of their best receivers too, so it makes perfect sense. Phil the Thrill, what's up, buddy? Talk to you tomorrow on the podcast. Hill and Johnson on the same roster. What Duke Johnson? Probably if you're paying up for stud receivers, or if you're using Lamar and Michael Thomas, and I doubt you could fit McCaffrey on that build on DraftKings, but yeah, I think Hill and Johnson is fine in the same thing for a tournament, not in cash though, Phil. Yep, for GPPs at DK, absolutely. Should I fade CMC? I will never say yes to that question as much as I want to today. Just no. I don't know if I can pay for him, but yeah, no, you can't do that. What's going on with Damian Williams? I heard yesterday he's supposed to play.
He should play. I just read up on that. He had a personal day yesterday. Andy Reid saying that he should be at the game. It's a Monday night game, so this is probably the guy that was asking me about it in chat. I want the sure thing. I know he's probably going to play, but this other guy had some good pivots with like Ridley. I'd probably throw Ridley in because I love him anyways. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a wait and see, but he should play. He should travel with the team. And no, I don't know why he missed practice yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't studied the Monday night game much yet. So I'm all on Sunday right now. But I
Yeah.
heard Damian should play. That's the best I could do for you there. Next game is New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I think this is shootout number 2. Everybody scores on Tampa Bay. We got Tampa Bay is a 5.5-point underdog here at home with a total of 50, and I think the total's climbing. This is a great game to play. I'll let you kick it off here, David.
Yeah, so of course you want to target the Tampa Bay secondary. You've got Drew Brees coming in, who didn't look sharp last week, but that's really because the Falcons looked extra sharp. I think the Saints came in thinking that they were just going to beat the hell out of Atlanta when Atlanta was really turn up off a bye week, saying we've got to win this game, pretty much treating it like their Super Bowl. I mean, against their division rivals in the Saints. I mean, we hate each other. Let's see. So Michael Thomas, obviously elite. This guy, all he does is put up production, even without Breeze. He's going up against the 32nd ranked pass defense in fantasy. That's the worst. He should be really popular, but he's really expensive and he's going to be hard to get in. But people will probably find a way. So I'm getting a lot of CMC or Thomas questions. They're both elite. I'd say try and find a way to get them both in. Once it locks, and people have been saying to themselves, I'm going to play Thomas all week. I'm going to play McCaffrey all week. And then they start scrambling with an hour left and pivot off one of them. Yeah, I think you're just making a mistake there. Classic DFS, get off your best plays with 5 minutes to go after you've been researching it all week.
Yeah, we've all won the Millionaire Maker with the lineup that we cut out.
Yeah, I know, man. It's the absolute worst. I've been telling myself all week, this is the team you're playing. Just go with it. And then you've got Ted Ginn Jr. No, not really interested in him. He's a deep threat, but no, he could just get 1 or 2 targets. Alvin Kamara is a little sneaky. I like him better on DraftKings. New Orleans going to come out hot here. Kamara's been getting healthier. He's going to catch some passes. I do like Kamara on DK, not on FanDuel. And I'm not sure that I'm going to go to Breeze. Are you thinking about doing a little bit of Breeze?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard. So I think he was initially going to be my cash game quarterback, and then I just fell in love with Lamar even more than I already was. So if you're doing it in cash and you can't afford Lamar, depending on how you build it, and if you can't afford Michael Thomas, make sure you have McCaffrey in that lineup then. But I think Breeze is a good place to go to kind of hedge not having Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
He shreds cover 2 over his career. I looked into that a little bit. A lot of people have been talking about that all week, but he's just so bad on the road. He's never been, I always love Drew Brees in the dome, but I don't know. It's hard to, who doesn't crush this Tampa Bay secondary though?
So how many touchdowns is Drew Brees going to need to throw to keep up with Lamar Jackson at $500 cheaper? Like 4?
I would say 3 to 4. Yeah, because he's not going to run. So yeah, that's the hard part. It's Lamar Jackson's just so perfect today. I hope, but I don't know, man. I don't know how you can't consider Breeze. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is out too for New Orleans, so that's a really big help or boost to Tampa Bay. So if we like Breeze, we need Tampa Bay to score, and that should help them a lot. But it's just between Breeze or Lamar, I just always find myself finding a way to change my lineup to get Lamar in there.
Yeah. What about Evans or Godwin? Which one of these guys am I going to be mad at all week?
So that's the thing here. I guess PJ Williams, he's the guy we always like to pick on. I put him in the cash right up every single Monday. I think he's going to play the outside today now that trying to find some information on that. But now that Marshawn Lattimore's out, I don't know. I was Godwin all week, so I'm going to say Godwin. But
I know.
It's how do you not play Mike Evans? I love Jameis Winston in this spot, though. He made my sleepers article, if you want to call it that. It's just no one's playing Jameis Winston this week. He's under 10% owned. Yeah. So I really like Jameis. He'd be my GPP quarterback. I don't think I'm going to be able to use Breeze, but if I use Jameis, I'm probably going to go Jameis, Godwin, Michael Thomas, or Jameis, Godwin, and OJ Howard. But I will have some Mike Evans. It's just I see myself just using Godwin in every build that I've been doing all week when I'm getting a Tampa Bay receiver.
I don't see any way that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are going to be popular when you've got Michael Thomas and Julio sitting there sandwiching their prices on FanDuel. And man, it would just be so sick if Mike Evans did it to me again. I'll throw in one team just so I can celebrate the touchdowns, him and Godwin, but it's hard to get him in a line. It's hard to get him.
Maybe Evans is the guy. Yeah, it looks like PJ's going to go the outside, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will take the slot. I mean, both of those guys should have a huge day. I love using both, but you can't really use Jameis, Mike Evans, Godwin, and Michael Thomas in the same lineup unless you're using Duke Johnson, Brian Hill, and maybe Miles Sanders, I guess, and punting at tight end. I have a build like that, but it does not look good. Javi would throw up, as he always says, but I don't know. Both Evans and Godwin are a smash play. I think Evans more on FanDuel because the touchdown equity there.
Yeah.
In the red zone targets. Godwin gets a little bit, but not nearly as much as Mike Evans. They just throw him jump balls all the time. So I'd say Evans, FanDuel, Godwin, DraftKings.
Yeah, and I'll mention too, I was looking at Jared Cook a little bit this week. He's got a nice matchup against Tampa Bay as well.
For sure.
I mean, he's got 10 targets last week. I wouldn't expect that again. They were playing from behind. But if it can get into any kind of shootout, I mean, the past 3 weeks he's got double-digit fantasy points. He's not. I've got other guys I like down there where he's priced, but he's just a guy I'll throw out. I'd play him in season long for sure.
Jared Cook is. Sorry, we're going to probably talk about this game a little more than most, just because this game in Baltimore is where you need to get some exposure to. Yep. I would say if you're playing a GPP, get a pass. I'd say either use Jared Cook or Michael Thomas or Kamara in almost all your lineups. One of those guys. So when you can't afford Michael Thomas, use Jared Cook. Just get some exposure because everybody tears apart this Tampa Bay secondary. So I always want one part of my lineup to be a New Orleans Saint pass catcher. I do like Traquan Smith too. He will score a touchdown today.
Whoa! That's your call, Traquan?
That's not the Slayton call, but he's on there for sure. I don't like him a ton, more large field GPPs, but if you need a punt play and you can't afford Jared Cook and you can't afford Michael Thomas, then go with Traquan Smith.
All right.
Watch Tech Dan score twice, so and kill me. But yeah, I like Traquan more here.
All right, I'm taking your advice. I'll roll with it. I'll throw one Traquan in on a Millie Maker team. I'm not touching him in cash, man. I've seen this guy burn people to death, but that is a sneaky play, and I like sneaky plays. Let's see if we have anything over here in YouTube. Sean Payton is known for running more away and throwing heavy at home. This is true. That's another reason that I kind of like Kamara over on DK.
Yeah, I think I love Kamara. He's going to be another under 10% owned guy. Todd Bowles blitzes all the time, so that's exactly what we need for Kamara to be a receiver there.
Yep.
I think his player prop here has him for 5 catches. He's minus 185 to score.
Oh, he's getting that.
It's on DraftKings, like you said, he's only 7,400. This guy used to be 9K sometimes last year.
I'll throw in Tampa is difficult to run on, but he is a pass catcher too. So that's why you want him on DK. You don't want him on FanDuel.
When is the last time Kamara's done anything really on the ground anyways? It's always through the air, this year at least.
Yep, that is accurate. The ex-Vols running back, ex-Alabama running back. He actually played for both teams. A lot of people I don't think know that. He transferred.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was behind. I think it was like Henry, Lacy, like Drake were in front of him or something insane because we're insane. All right, next game is going to be Jacksonville at Indy. Kind of a sloppy game here. You've got Jacoby Brissett back. You've got Nick Foles back. I almost said his nickname. You've got the running backs, Marlon Mack, Leonard Fournette. So, look, this game might go under the radar a little bit just because none of these teams are really sexy. If I'm going to go anywhere, I might go back to DJ Chark this week. He had a very nice connection with Foles in week 1 before he got hurt, but that was kind of short-lived. But DJ Chark is the number one. You do have Chris Conley emerging, who hasn't shown that relationship with Foles. He was showing it with what's his name, Gardner Minshew. So I don't think I'm going to go there. D.D. Westbrook had a nice connection with Foles, but they haven't had a ton of time to practice together. It'd be DJ Chark for me, and then if I'm running it back with another wide receiver, I do like what I see out of Zach Pascal and Brissett. I played him when Ty couldn't play a couple games ago, and I was happy with the results. I'm not going to dumpster dive for like a Chester Rogers or anything like that. You've got Jack Doyle back. He was beat up last week, but he's going to get targeted heavily again, I would think, or I shouldn't say heavily, but 4 or 5 and with a chance to get in the end zone. He's got a touchdown the past 2 games. Are you on any of these pass catchers? Are you on any of these running backs, quarterbacks, defenses? Talk to us.
I
Nick.
like Fournette a ton.
Okay.
I mean, this guy's got to score a touchdown eventually, right? He's got one on the year, I think.
He has. Yeah. Go ahead.
I guess my thing with him is Foles gives this offense some hope. I think Minshew was fun, great mustache, great locker room guy. I guess funny pictures and all that. Love it. But I think this offense should move so much better with Nick Foles, and I think that's going to free up Fournette a little bit. He's going to, I think his player prop is 5 catches as well, so that's awesome. He's got a nice price. He's $7,900 on DraftKings. So if you can't afford, if you're going wide receiver heavy or whatever, I think he's definitely an RB1 this week.
Yeah.
He's top 3 for me. So I like him a lot. In a large field tournament, I do think a Jaguar stack's cool, and D.D. Westbrook I like a lot in DraftKings cash games. He's 4,500. That price is awesome. He should be mid-5s, I think. And Foles just loves the slot. He always has. So I'm going to ride D.D. there. I do like Conley. He made my sleepers list, but the more I look at it, I don't think you ever need to do that. If D.D.'s 4,500 on DraftKings, again, I like Conley more on FanDuel. But really, I don't want anything to do with this game on any of my main lineups besides Fournette.
All right, yeah. Foles does love the slot. Would you rather take Fournette or would you rather take Ezekiel Elliott?
Price considered, I'm going Fournette.
Would you
but
rather?
If price wasn't a concern at all, I would go Zeke.
Okay. Would you rather have Fournette or Josh Jacobs? Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but
you are making some tough ones.
Yeah.
I'll go Josh Jacobs because price. He's only 6,900 on DraftKings. So that's a nice price.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Yeah, I'm again not on any of these quarterbacks. A game I'm kind of avoiding. I don't see it being a shootout. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, use DD in cash and use Fournette where you can. I don't have any. I'm done with Marlon Mack. I played a lot of them last week. I'm done with them.
Yeah. I saw someone tweet this morning that Marlon Mack's gonna have a good game. And that I was just thinking to myself, man, people are getting themselves off the best plays and going with these weird pivots. WFF Clan says with Trufant back, is DJ Moore an afterthought? No, DJ Moore's not an afterthought. Trufant's good, but he can be beat. I mean, I'm a Falcons fan. That's not going to get me off of DJ Moore. What would get me off of DJ Moore is his ridiculous ownership. He's too popular this week, but he is a good play. He hasn't caught a touchdown right in like the past month, I think, but he's still getting the numbers. I don't have it in front of me.
He's gone like 20 plus the last 3 weeks, I think. 2 or 3 weeks for sure on DraftKings at least.
Yeah, I'd still be on DJ Moore. Would you rather have DJ Moore or Samuels, Nick?
DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think so too. Good morning, Javi. Congrats, Javi. He's the king is here. The soon-to-be $1 million man. Man, he killed it.
Yeah, I heard Javi just bought a Maserati.
Yeah. If y'all are just joining us, Javi won $140-something thousand last week. Or last night. Sorry, I was up with him till like 2 a.m. celebrating with him over the phone. It was I mean, what do you do? I've never won that much in a game. So welcome, Javi. All right, let's bounce it down to the next game. It's going to be the Denver game. I don't think we're going to have a ton to talk about here. Denver at Minnesota. You've got Thielen out. You're going to have the Vikings running 2 tight end sets, I would think, like they did last time last time he was out. That's going to be a lot of Kyle Rudolph, a lot of Irv Smith, and then you're going to have a lot of Stephon Diggs. Diggs can really get going when he is the focal point. However, Denver's pass defense is not bad, 3rd ranked at the position.
But Diggs will get shadowed by Chris Harris.
Yeah. So that's going to open up the underneath, I would think, with Irv and Kyle. Kyle Rudolph's only 4,500. That makes me sick. That means I might have to get some. 4 touchdowns the past 4 games, 2 touchdowns in prime time. He'll probably be a little bit popular. His corpse has come to life at the beginning of the season. Man, he was rusty, and I played him, and I was not happy. Dalvin Cook should get fed here too. I mean, he is the lead bell cow back. No one's talking about him. This guy puts up 20s every week. What do you think about Cook?
I love Dalvin Cook this week. He's
Okay.
got his player props 130 all-purpose yards. He's minus 200 to score with 4 catches.
Woo.
This should be a hell of a spot for him. They're a 10.5-point favorite. We always love running backs at home when they're a double-digit favorite. The only concern I have, I guess, is how much Madison we see now. He always gets a goal line carry. He hasn't gotten the box, though, so hopefully all that work goes to Dalvin. But that is the only player in this game I will play, and then Vikings defense. I don't want to talk about Denver. Cortland Sutton's fine, but his price is too high. Just get exposure to the other games, in my opinion. But if you could build around Dalvin Cook, I think that is a fine play. I don't know how much I'll have of him. I wish I could. That prop is getting me a little excited, so maybe I will start changing my builds after the show. But yeah, Dalvin Cook is one of my top 3 running backs as well, with Fournette there. But it's just he's 8,900 on DraftKings, and that's a fair price for sure. I think he's the only guy that could potentially outscore McCaffrey this week at the running back position.
Man, I was not on him at all, and it's such a good spot. I did not see that. That's why I like talking to you, Nick. I did not see that 130 all-purpose yards prop. That is
that's ridiculous. That's one of the highest he's had all year.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's gonna get fed, isn't he? Maybe I have to mix him in with my Zeke and Josh Jacobs because I'm playing McCaffrey and I'm playing Brian Hill, so I might just mix that third running back in and see what I come up with. How do you rank this Minnesota Vikings defense on the week? I've heard a lot of people talking about them. I get it. I love Minnesota at home, but there are a lot of defenses I'm looking at this week. Are they going to be one of your top Ds here?
I think they're going to be my defense in cash games.
Okay.
They're a solid price, 3,400 on DraftKings. That's not too bad. I usually like to pay down. So the Redskins are my other choice at 2,800. I'm not going to go any lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Vikings are fine. Brandon Allen, I don't know what to think about him. I don't think he's very good. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Minnesota's secondary is not very good either. I just think that they should run away with this game, and it could get ugly. So
Yeah.
they're definitely in play for me. I'd say they're a top 3 defense for me this week, I guess. They got a nice price, and they're at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to think about handicapping defenses too much. It's more of just what fits and what makes sense, who's not going to go negative for me. I think there's no chance Minnesota goes negative, so they should get 5 to 10 points, I guess.
That's a pretty good way to look at it. You sit here and try and predict who's going to get the pick six and fumble recovery for touchdown. You're not going to be able to do it. No one can do it. It's impossible. So what I've found myself doing this week is landing on. I've got 4 running backs I like, 5 now with Dalvin Cook. A handful of wide receivers, and I'm just mixing these defenses in and making sure I'm not putting a player against an opposing defense and trying to bank a 300K win here on FanDuel. Let's pop over to YouTube. Wow, a lot of stuff just came in. Did you miss the Hill talk, Chris Brewer? You did not miss the Hill talk. We're gonna get to that shortly. We did talk about Hill some actually. Sorry, Hill's a good play. Hill's one of my favorite running backs. He's too cheap. Carolina defense can be beat.
They're dead last in run DVOA. And real quick on the Minnesota side, I'm going to be out on Rudolph on DraftKings. I'm just not. I feel like he's going to be a lot more active in games that are close, like Dallas exactly was last week. If they get a big lead, I don't see them needing to do. I don't want to play the does Rudolph score twice game because I don't think he's going to get any more than 4 catches. And the tight ends I like have a much better game script for what I'm looking for. I always want a guy that's going to get 5 or more catches on DraftKings, so I try to find those guys. I don't see Rudolph doing that unless Brandon Allen could pull a rabbit out of his head and keep this game close somehow. I don't see it.
But as for Hill, we're going to get more on that game later, but I do love him. Carolina's terrible. They've given up 5 more touchdowns than anybody else. Just go look at what people have been doing to him the past 3 weeks, and Atlanta's a little depleted on offense. But let's see what else we got. We like Duke for DK GPPs with Baltimore. Oh, that's what you said, Nick.
Yep. Yeah, someone was asking about that. Chris Pickett, can you tell me more about your night last night? Was Malort involved? I don't know if you guys have ever had a shot of Malort. I did not have one yesterday, but if you ever see a bar that it's like a Chicago staple apparently, but I've never met anybody in Chicago that drinks it, so I don't really understand it, but it is pure gasoline. Just want to give Malort a quick plug here. Whatever you're making is pure gasoline. But no, I did not have a shot of Malort last night. I wouldn't be here if I did.
Oh my gosh. All right, scratching off the Denver game, let's go talk Jets and Washington Redskins. Two teams that we hate to watch. You've got Lev Bell popping up on the injury report. I don't know what his deal is. He seems to always just be hobbled. He's questionable with ribs, knee, and an illness. Not a good combo for a guy that has not been producing like we drafted him to. However, if he's a full go against Washington, it's a pretty good matchup. But I don't know. Still, on DK, I could play him because of the receptions, but he's a little too questionable for me with all these other guys we've got. Jamison Crowder returning to Washington. He was a Redskin the past 2 weeks. He has a touchdown in each game, over 80 yards, 16 and 18 fantasy points. I do like him at 6,500. It's interesting. You have these guys that go off on FanDuel, and the prices just always seem to stay the same. There's not too much being shaken up. Calvin Ridley's been like $6,000 all year. I don't get that. Crowder's going off 6,500. Terry McLaurin on the other side. I've heard a lot of people talking about him this week. The matchup's pretty good. He's getting targeted. He went off a couple times in the first couple weeks, hit again against Miami. I'm not necessarily on it, but I do get the play. And as far as the running backs go on Washington, Darius Geis is back. I'm not really sure what kind of workload he's getting. He should be splitting with Peterson still. Is he a sneaky guy? Do we want to look at Darius Geis?
No,
Okay.
no. Get out with everything Washington besides McLaurin.
Okay.
I love McLaurin actually this week. I wanted not to, but his ownership's low, and man, he's better than Darius Slayton. And Darius Slayton just killed this Jet secondary. They're so slow. McLaurin's fast as hell. I think he ran 4.3 maybe. I don't know. Fact check me there, somebody. But he's fast as hell. He's an excellent route runner. It's just, can Haskins be competent enough to get him the ball in areas where he can make big plays? I don't know. But I will be over the field in ownership with McLaurin for sure. If he's going to be under 10% and he's 5,600 on DraftKings, I'll use him. But other than that, I don't want anything to do with this game besides the Redskins defense.
I will tell you,
simply due to price.
I mean, I get it. I'm going to get some more McLaurin in now. I do like Ryan Griffin, guys. I liked him a couple weeks ago. He's going to be the Jets tight end going against Washington here in his past 4 games. So last game, Herndon came back and was taking more of the targets from Griffin, but now Herndon is out again. The week before Herndon's return at Miami, he had a touchdown overruled. He had 50 yards. At Jacksonville, he had 2 touchdowns for 22 fantasy points. New England got to him. He didn't do anything. Dallas the week before, he had a touchdown. I think he's going to be targeted here in the red zone again, and he's 4,800 on FanDuel. He is one of my favorite cheap tight ends, so I'm going to take a couple flyers on him. Is that something you can back?
Damn it. Yeah, now that I saw that he's 2,900 on DraftKings.
Woo!
Yeah, he's in play. I guess he's in play. I hate to say it, but everything you said about him is true. And that price, he's a perfect punt play, I guess.
All right. Yeah. Chris Brewer wants to know Curtis Samuel. Yeah, you can play Curtis Samuel. A lot of other people are going to be playing him too, but yep, you can play him.
He's a good pivot off of DJ Moore chalk. They're both chalk, I guess.
Yeah, they are.
Curtis Samuel's going to be around 15%. DJ Moore's 30%. So,
yeah, that's going to be really tilting when one of those guys goes off and you have the other one. Just fair warning, so you know it's going to hurt. Let's go down to Miami. We're going to try and get through these games here quicker than the first ones we went through. I love Josh Allen this week. They should change the name of the stadium in Miami to Josh Allen Stadium because he just owns these guys. In 3 games in his short tenure in the NFL, he has run for 7 touchdowns against them. That is a ton of touchdowns in 3 games to run for. He's passed for 2. He just loves to beat the crap out of these guys. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks on the season. The price is perfect. Pair him with John Brown, who hasn't had less than 60 yards, I think it is, in any game this season, going against the Miami Dolphins. And I absolutely love it. And I don't really like anything else from the game except from that. You got any Miami reads? You got any more Buffalo takes?
No, exactly that. Josh Allen and John Brown. But Dude, I don't. Everybody, we all came into the year loving Josh Allen for tournaments.
Yeah, I know.
What has he done? He's a great cash game quarterback this week.
Yep.
I just don't see the upside because if they run away with this game too, I mean, he's going to hit John Brown on a deep ball. John Brown's a great play all the time. He's 6,400 on DraftKings though.
Yep.
And he's going to be popular. I don't
Look,
know.
it does have a low total, which scares me a little bit. I know Javier. I was talking to him last night. He may have mentioned it on the Sirius XM show about Devin Singletary. The matchup makes a lot of sense. And now that I'm thinking about it more, I'm sitting here looking at a picture of Frank Gore wearing a Miami jersey in the Buffalo backfield. Frank Gore could vulture a touchdown here. I could definitely see that happening. So
I
you
think
do
he and
have,
Singletary will both have a really, really heavy game script for both of them. That's the
yeah,
thing with Josh Allen and John Brown. Buffalo just does not play at a high pace, and that's something I want in tournaments.
yeah.
So I
I
don't know. I'm going to be out on them both, but they're a great play. I like Josh Allen and Cash. When you got New Orleans and Tampa Bay and Baltimore and Houston, just
mhm.
go there
Yeah.
for tournament. Go to the games that there's gonna be points on every other drive. Maybe a field goal, whatever, but there will be points on almost every other drive in those games. So that's why I gotta go.
Is Miami gonna hang in this game?
I don't know. Probably. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
What's the spread there? 6.5. Miami's an underdog. I don't know.
I
That
think the
game
Bills
total
win.
total of 41. I think the Bills win for sure.
Yeah,
It's just I don't know. How is Miami gonna score though?
I
That's
know.
like okay, Preston or not Preston Williams, he's out for the year, but Devontae Parker, he's going to see Tre'Davious White. Good luck there, Devontae.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki, that was a one week wonder. I Balaj,
Hey,
maybe
here's one.
this could be a route. It could be 21-3, and that's it. And then they just
Alan
run the hell out of the ball.
Alan Hearns just signed a 2-year extension a day ago for the Dolphins. He's going to get the easiest matchup for wide receiver. So I'm not
I
recommending him.
loved Alan Hearns last week. He had
Yeah.
like 3 quick catches on the first drive, and we didn't see from him again. He was on that main lineup that did really well for me, so it didn't really matter. But I could
Yeah.
have took first place in a huge GPP if he. I think I got ninth, but if he did anything, that would have been fun.
David Childs is asking about Greg Olson. He is cheap. We haven't got to him yet. We're about to though.
That's our next game. Let's just do it.
Go for it. Start us off.
The hell with Buffalo and Miami. Atlanta, Carolina, game number 3 in my interest here. Total of 49.5. That may be getting bet up as well. Carolina's a 4-point favorite at home. No Austin Hooper for Atlanta. And I think that's pretty much the only injury concerns that I have written down here. So this should be nothing but fireworks. I think this game's going to blow up as well. The one concern I have is Matt Ryan on the road. Kind of the same Drew Brees thing. He's not usually as solid, but they play Carolina tight all the time. And Julio Jones tears up zone coverage all the
Yeah.
time. So I like that a lot. I don't know if James Bradbury's playing. That would be he shadows, and so I guess if you want to say shadow in a zone coverage, they would just bracket Julio Jones.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't matter.
I don't think it's Julio Jones, and he's 7,500 on DraftKings, and Michael Thomas is 9,900. So
Yeah.
if
My
anybody's
Falcons.
gonna get close to Michael Thomas, I think Julio's the guy. Well, with Mike Evans and Godwin as well, we like them a great bit. But
Yep.
Julio's a top 5 play for me this week for sure, just because zone coverage, he does it every time. No Hooper. They should just he's got a 7 catch prop. Julio. Let's go. Highest on the board, I think. Michael Thomas,
Jeez.
8.5. So okay, so those two. But
Yeah, so
give me Julio.
Julio could be the highest scoring wide receiver on this slate. Sorry if I cut you off there. I thought
No,
you
you're
were
good. You're good.
passing to me. So Julio tears up Carolina. The Falcons are without Hooper, who they just lost. They just traded away Sanu. They don't have Devontae Freeman. It's going to be Julio. It's going to be Ridley. It's going to be Hill. And then Gage is going to sneak up in there too, which I don't hate as a punt play either at the wide receiver position. Julio is going to get fed. A 7-catch prop is absolutely insane. It's all the offense is going to be funneled around those 4 guys, and Ryan's going to have to throw it a lot, although I'm not on Matt Ryan. On the other side, of course, you've got Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore. Look, we've mentioned them a lot. They're good plays. They're going to be chalky, but they're good plays. Greg Olson is too cheap. I know Jason, our founder over at WInDailySports.com, likes Greg Olson a lot this week. And then Christian McCaffrey, I'm playing him. I'm just not even thinking about it. I'm going to stick him in there. Brian Hill, I'm playing him too. The Carolina, I love to target the Carolina rush defense. Last week, I called out Aaron Jones on the show. He went crazy, 3 touchdowns
Yes,
against Carolina.
that was awesome.
Week before that, yeah, that was awesome. Week before that, Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns. Week before that, Tevin Coleman, 3 touchdowns. Now we've got the cheap running back they don't have anyone else there to give it to, and they're just going to run it down Carolina's throat again. Brian Hill pays off at 5,900. Count on it. McCaffrey pays off. A lot of people in this game are going to pay off. And then as far as Kyle Allen goes, I think you're on Kyle Allen somewhat, right?
Not anymore. Not if he's going to be 20% owned. I'm looking at 18 to 20%. What? No. I in cash for sure. If you need to pay down, it's just I don't know. No other quarterback just screams 30 plus points like Lamar Jackson. So again, I'm going Lamar Jackson. But Kyle Allen's for sure in play. It's just he's so damn popular.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to do much for you in a GPP because if you're paying down for Kyle Allen, it's because you're trying to get guys like McCaffrey and Michael Thomas. So everybody is going to have that exact same build. So you better have a one-off that goes off. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there in the middle of the pack with everybody else. So I don't really see any leverage in using Kyle Allen and a 30% owned DJ Moore and a 20% owned Curtis Samuel and a 20% owned McCaffrey. Like, you got to figure out a way to get different, because if you're using Kyle Allen, it's because you're using Michael Thomas too. Like, unless you can,
right.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to tell you to fade Michael Thomas. I'd rather fade Kyle Allen.
Yeah, let me ask you if this sounds sexy to you guys. You've got a quarterback here who put up 3.28 fantasy points against the Houston Texans, and Kyle Allen. He also put up 3 points against San Francisco. Okay, that's a little more acceptable. The entire season, except for the first game, he's only eclipsed 17 fantasy points once. He's usually living around the 14, 15 area. I don't want to play someone like that. That's chalk. I don't care about the matchup. I'm not interested in Kyle Allen, really. And if he beats me, I guess he beats me. I know Javier, who's on fire right now, really likes him. But I don't know. He's getting a little too overhyped for me.
I'm with you 100%.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Get Kyle Allen. Javi. All right. Agree to disagree. But Javi knows what
I'm
he's
out
doing,
there.
man. He's hot.
You don't differentiate when you do that.
Yeah.
Javi, what is your build with whatever you're doing with him? Like, where are you getting different at? I would love to know.
Yeah,
there may be a good answer. There may be a good answer to that question. I don't know what it is.
If you can just send us all your lineup right now, we'd really appreciate it, Javi.
Just rip it to shreds.
Yeah. So Buffalo done, Houston done, Atlanta done, Arizona. So where are we at here? Arizona at San Francisco. I like the San Francisco defense to bounce back in this game. I'm not going to have any Cardinals players. I do not think. It's in San Francisco. The defense is fantastic. They lost last week. They're going to pop back. It's a good defense. It's another reason why I kind of like the Patriots defense, but we'll get into that too. George Kittle is out. I do like Dwelly. He has the best matchup for tight ends, and he is one of the cheapest tight ends. Arizona is dead last against the tight end. A tight end gets a touchdown against them virtually every week. I'm playing Ross Dwelly in my main lineup, and no one can stop me. Christian Kirk, I'm not going back. No, thank you. Debo, liked him a lot better when Emmanuel Sanders was possibly out. Sanders is back. He could be playing a decoy role a little bit because San Francisco is going to win this game. But Debo Samuel is not a chalk player that I want to invest in. I get it, though. And then I'm hearing a lot of Tevin Coleman talk. I think that Jay or Javier is on Tevin Coleman. Jay was. He was asking me about it on the show last night on SiriusXM. I get it, too. But aside from that 1-3 touchdown game, he's really not doing too much, guys. I mean, 9 points against Seattle last week, 4 against Arizona, 7 against Washington. That is not good. And I watched Tevin Coleman play a lot in Atlanta. He's not a bell cow running back. He's a pass-catching running back. But he went over there because Kyle Shanahan's the head coach, and Kyle Shanahan likes to mix it up a little bit unless it's the Super Bowl and he wants to lose it. All right, what do you got, Nick? Who you like from this game?
All right, so I do like Tevin, but I like the other guy more. This was before the whiskey yesterday that I was on, Raheem Mostert. He's 3,500, I think, on DraftKings. 3,400 on DraftKings. So, and no one's going to play him. It's a prayer. I get it. So if you use Raheem Mostert, make sure you have studs everywhere in your lineup. All right. Let me make that clear. But I will be playing a lot of Raheem Mostert because that's the way my builds are going right now. I love picking on Arizona's defense, and I love running backs again. Some Ronald Jones just tore him up last week. So if you could afford Tevin Coleman, I think he's a great play. He's going to be super heavy chalk, though, too, because he's only 6,100 on DraftKings. I'm seeing like 20% or more ownership projection there. So I can't afford him really in most of my lineups. So I'm going to go to Mostert because I do want exposure to Sam Fran here. They're a 10-point favorite at home. We always love running backs in that spot.
Oh.
Arizona's defense is terrible. I want nothing to do with Arizona as well. So, yeah, don't chase the Christian Kirk points. That was just a matchup play last week. And, yeah, you got 40 points out of him on DraftKings. So, don't go back there. I think if anybody is in play for Arizona, I had him in the cash article at first on Mondays. Andy Isabella. He's one of my punt plays this week. I think he's just going to continue to get more snaps. He's a deep down the field threat, and he's super cheap. I think he's 3,500 on DraftKings as well. So he's in play, because the game script makes sense. If they're getting their ass kicked all day, sorry, I don't know if I could say that. My bad. If they're getting crushed all game, I think Isabella should have a great game script. So I do like him a little bit. It's a punt play again. Make sure your lineup is loaded with studs. But Mostert is my guy here, and Dwelly for sure. Yeah, I can't agree with you more on him. Yeah, I think he's a great cash play on DraftKings. I don't know if it'll be a ceiling game for him because they use the tight ends really for like the check down, those dig routes. It seems like they always just run across the middle of the field. Yeah. And, like the second read, I guess, for the quarterback, they're just always sitting right there. So I do like Dwelly for that. I just don't know if the upside is going to be there if this game's a blowout. So I'd rather go the running backs. And for what I could personally afford in GPPs, it's Mostert, which is disgusting, but he's going to have 10 plus points.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm getting away from the game a little bit, but that makes sense. I think 49ers are a sneaky defense, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, they're most expensive on DraftKings. If you could play them, play them.
Guys, I'm trying to figure out how to turn this beeping off on my text. I can't figure it out. So please quit texting me if you're watching the show and texting me. I'm on the show. I'm going to screen. It's not Javi this time, though. It's not Javi. I'll point that out.
Couple questions here. What do we got? Williams for Oakland, yay or nay from Chris Brewer. I think. Did we tackle that one?
Go for it. No.
I'm going to say, I mean, if it's season long, of course, but I have no interest in him in DFS. Oakland plays at such a slow pace, and this should just be a Josh Jacobs day. That's all. We'll get to that game too. Greg Olsen definitely in play. I think David talked about that one. Atlanta tight end worth a shot. That's a David question. I would say hell no, but that's up to David.
I don't even know who it is. Yeah, no, I don't do it. Let me pull it up and see who's going to be playing there. But I don't think you need to go there, guys.
James Graham. Talking about Tom Brady. We'll get to that game. I love it. TB12 baby. I got my Tom Brady socks on. I'm not very flexible. Otherwise, I put my foot up here and show you. I should wear the hat. I should have put the TB12 hat on. Maybe I do that. But yeah, he's a great spot this week. Javi, Kyle Allen, CMC, Jacobs, DJ Moore, Edelman, Ridley, Dwelly, Brian Hill, and the greatest team, the Dallas Cowboys. That sounds like absolute chalk city. Besides Edelman, so Edelman's a good guy that's going to be under 10% owned. So Javi's got a solid build there. Like we said, if you're doing that whole Kyle Allen thing, make sure you get someone different that has upside, and I think Edelman for sure does. So I don't hate that lineup as much as I thought I would, Javi. But yeah, I mean, and he's going Kyle Allen, CMC. A lot of people aren't going to do that. So yeah, Javi's on the ball. I like that.
I love Edelman this week. Love Edelman. Yep. He's going to be underlooked coming off a bye. Gets over 10 targets every game, 11, 12, 15. I mean, he's Tom Brady's number one guy. A lot of people are going to be on Sanu. And while Sanu does have great hands and people are on him because they saw what he did last week with 14 targets, I don't think that's going to be I don't think he's going to repeat those numbers. I do kind of like Philip Dorsett as a sneaky punt guy. Look, he's still a starting receiver for the Patriots going against the Eagles. Brady has shown nice rapport with him, and he just didn't have a game against Baltimore. It was Sanu's game. Before that, it was an Edelman game. But, before that, he had a touchdown against the Jets, twice actually. And then 2 touchdowns against Pitt. So I do like Dorsett. I get the James White play for New England because he could catch the pass, but they're splitting time back there, so I'm probably off it. Someone asked me about that earlier. That's why I'm mentioning it. And then as far as the Eagles go, I don't think I'm going to play any of them. I like the Patriots defense again this week. No one's talking about them. They are still an elite defense. They got beat last week. They're coming off a bye. I think they're going to thump the Eagles today. Before last week, they had 21 points, 25 points, 27 points, 25 points, 37 points. I know it's against easier competition, but I mean, what are the Eagles? The Eagles aren't that good. So give me the Patriots defense and some of these pass catchers. What else you got?
Ooh, couldn't disagree more on this one.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is
Go for
my
it.
sneaky game on the slate, if you want to call it sneaky. I mean, I wrote about it in the inaugural Sleepers article that posted on Friday. How do you I want to know your opinion, I guess. How do you think New England blows them out? It's
Coming
Doug
off a
Peterson's
bye.
but so are Philly. I love this. I bet the over immediately as soon as it opened at 44, I think.
Okay.
Hammered that immediately. It's like both teams are coming off a bye, though. Peterson's an excellent coach.
Right.
It's Super Bowl kind of
Sure.
what do you call that? Revenge, I guess. I just spilled water all over myself too. Not my morning, but Jordan Howard's out, so that opens up the world for Miles Sanders. He is going to be in my sexy six. He's 4,100 on DraftKings. You got to play him in DraftKings now. That I think in tournaments, that is my pivot off of Brian Hill. If you don't want to use Brian Hill, go to Sanders. You could use them both and load up with. You could do a New Orleans Tampa Bay game stack, and you could use both Sanders and Brian Hill. That opens up a lot for you. Maybe throw Olsen at tight end to kind of go with Brian Hill there, so you get pieces of both sides. You could afford that. You could put DJ Moore in there with that build. I like that a lot, but I think Philly keeps this close. I think both teams score a lot. You could run on New England. It's just their fantasy points against it look so scary because they played nobody for 6 weeks. Absolutely nobody. So if Sanders, who else is good? They signed Jay Ajayi. I don't see him playing.
No.
I want nothing to do with Jay Ajayi. So Sanders should be on the field all the time. He's got game breaking ability. I think he's gone double digits in almost every single game this year, even when he's splitting time with Jordan Howard. I love Miles Sanders. And then here is my dart throw of the week, who I like a lot, is Dallas Goedert. I know my boy Thomas somewhere on there is he's in on Goddard as well. So the thing, I watched a lot of Philly tape this week. They run without Deshaun Jackson. They run double tight end all the time, and they're good at it. All right. So Minnesota, we talked about, they run double tight ends a lot, but their first and foremost, their weapon is Dalvin Cook. So and I don't know if New England's scoring because Philly can't stop anything through the pass. I think that this is a great game for Dallas Goedert because, again, Belichick had 2 weeks to scheme for this game, and who are you going to scheme for? You're going to try to stop Zach Ertz. So Dallas Goedert at 3,200 DraftKings, love it. That is one of my favorite plays, again, due to salary, but I think the game script makes sense. I like this game to go over, and I don't necessarily like Wentz, but I probably should if I like Goddard that much, but I don't know. I can't play Wentz. I'd rather go Brady. I think that this New England passing game should be awesome this week. Belichick's not dumb. You can't run on Philly, so he's going to scheme to use Edelman and Sanu and Philip Dorsett. I like that call a lot, but I love James White too on DraftKings.
Yeah. So we just disagree on this game a little bit. I like Pat's coming off a bye. I know Eagles too. Whatever. I mean, the Patriots have the better quarterback. They have the better coach. They have the better running backs. They have the better wide receiver. They've got the better defense. So I'm taking a stand on the Pats D. I do like him this week, and I'm going to play him. So we'll see what happens there. But I do like that. I like the Goddard call. I think that's sneaky. I think that Belichick is going to try and stop Ertz. So yeah, give me some Goddard. Last game is going to be the Bengals at Oakland. Will you start us off on that while I go get my dogs to be quiet?
Yeah, for sure. I'll actually take a couple questions here, and then you come back and we'll talk about this game a bit. Eric Ebron with Jacoby back. For sure, Ebron's always in play. He gets a lot of red zone targets. I just don't like the whole split in time thing with Doyle. But, I mean, I like Ebron's chances of scoring a touchdown today, so I don't think that's a bad play, KC. Javi, I would like a verbal apology. I think I did say I'm sorry. I liked your build. Harry's going to play this week. Got to fade Dorsett. Oh, N'Keal Harry. Yeah, I mean, I'm not on Dorsett. I don't think I will have any of him. He's kind of out of my player pool. I may put him in like a Millie Maker type of thing now that David touched on him a bit. But I just said James White goes double-digit points and DraftKings every single week. And if they're not going to run, they're going to pass. That's how you beat Philly. I like James White a lot. Talked about that there. Garrett Selleck against the Cardinals. Yeah, that's a thing with Dwellick too. Is like, does Selleck? He's coming back this week. I don't really want to make those decisions, so I'll just use Dwelly in cash if I have to. But I'm probably going to use Goddard. Actually, no, I'm not, because I'm using Miles Sanders, so I'm not going to use two Eagles in cash. But yeah, Garrett Selleck is one of our. Who is that? David Childs. He's calling a touchdown. It sounds like for Garrett Selleck. Any thoughts there, David?
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
it Garrett Selleck? Is that which guys there?
Selleck, yeah. I mean, I get it too. He's got the same matchup. It is. It
I just
can
don't
be.
think you need to get that cute. If you're going to use San Fran, just use the defense and the running backs.
Yeah, I do love the tight ends here. Hey, you know what? I might mix a little Selleck in there too.
I think Dwelly's fine for cash, though, don't you?
I like Dwelly better. Yeah,
played a ton of snaps. Yeah, and he's been fine.
He's going to get more targets. So
yeah, if anything, Selleck's going to be used to block, because Dwelly is not that good of a blocker. He's a pass catcher. He was. You look at his college stats too. That dude caught a ton of passes.
So when I was running downstairs and putting my dogs outside, did you talk about Josh Jacobs on Oakland?
I did not yet. I was doing a couple questions. Yeah, Chung is out too for Patriots.
Yeah, right. Chung's out, but I don't care. I'm not.
I'm just gonna use Goddard and Sanders. I'm not gonna use. I don't think Alshon's playing either. That's another thing. No Alshon. Dallas Goedert, get him in, guys. He's their best pass catcher outside of Ertz on that team right now. Yeah, Jordan Matthews, Aguilar, and Mac Hollins, I guess, are the three receivers for Philly.
Ooh. Do you think Philly can win the game?
Yeah, for sure. At home, I trust Peterson. I don't think they'll win. I'm a Brady believer for sure, but I'm not gonna write off Peterson at home with 2 weeks to prep for Belichick and the Patriots after losing the Super Bowl to him or beating him in the Super Bowl. I think that they know that New England's out for blood in this game. It's going to go over. This should be a fun one. This is probably my favorite game on the slate just because I think it'll be great football.
Pats are going to work them. Let's move on to Bengals and Oakland because it's about that time, guys. I got to go make lineups here. Oakland defense makes sense as a punt at home. The Bengals are terrible. Josh Jacobs is the play from this game for me going against Cincinnati. One of the worst absolute run stoppers in the league. If he gets 4 quarters here, he's getting 100 yards and he's getting a touchdown. He's going to be in about 70% of my lineups. The other 30 is going to have, other 20 is probably going to have Zeke. The other 10 is probably going to have Cook with McCaffrey and with Hill from Atlanta. I'm playing 3 running backs on FanDuel, and then I'm mixing in wide receivers, tight ends. I'm probably going to put Lamar up top and see if I can bink it that way. I don't like anyone from Cincinnati at all. I don't like Joe Mixon. I don't like Boyd. I don't like their quarterback. Boyd only gets it done at home. I've been saying it all year. I said it all last year. That's all he does. And now he doesn't have anyone. I mean, he hadn't had anyone throw him the ball for 3 years, but he certainly doesn't now. As far as the wide receivers go over here on Oakland, Tyrell Williams had a very strong run to start the season. But that was without the emergence of Hunter Renfrow, who's coming in and taking some of those targets. You also have Darren Waller that's coming in and taking some of those targets. I don't think you're going to have to throw a lot here in Oakland. But I could see a long ball to Williams. I can see Renfrow getting targeted in Enzo again. I can see Waller getting targeted. But it's a little too spread out for me to target that pass game. Do you have a different take on that?
No, for sure. I mean, Oakland's an 11-point favorite at home. Just go Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
Don't pay up for Waller on DraftKings. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to play Darren Waller, but the price, 5,500, I would rather just save salary to go get Michael Thomas, Godwin Evans, Julio, all those guys we talked about that we think are home run plays with game scripts that support that. I don't see that for Waller. I don't see them needing him. Cincinnati's going to be bad, but I do like Boyd. I'm on Boyd for cash. He's 5,200 on DraftKings because that exact reason. The game script makes sense if they're playing from behind all the time. I mean, they were getting crushed last week in Baltimore, and Joe Mixon got 30 carries. So maybe I wouldn't use Boyd in a tournament because it just doesn't seem like Cincinnati's going to want to play catch up at all. Like, it just seems like they don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe Tua get. Oh, sorry. Also, sorry about Tua. That sucks.
I thought you said
that was awful. I just my thoughts are with you and everybody in the Roll Tide family. You hate to see that. Hopefully, it's not as bad as the Bo Jackson thing that kind of ended his career. Same type of injury, I guess. But that sucks.
Medicine's come a long way.
Yeah, but who's Cincinnati tanking for now? It's not tanking for Tua apparently. So I don't know. I don't know how to read Cincinnati. I just think that Boyd will for sure get 8 to 10 targets, and he's in the slot against LaMarcus Joyner. I love playing guys against LaMarcus Joyner, and Boyd's going to be the number one target for Cincinnati. But I do think Mixon makes for an interesting tournament play at 5,500 on DraftKings, I believe, just because of the workload last week. Zach Taylor, I guess, doesn't trust Finley, and I don't blame him. He didn't look that good at all against Baltimore.
Yeah.
But that's a tough game to look good in your debut there in the NFL. But if they're going to lean on Mixon and just run the clock and get out of Oakland and fly home and hang out with their families for the holidays coming up, then I will use Mixon a little bit just because the workload. I think he's going to get some passes. But it's Boyd for me in cash, and that's about it. And then heavy on Jacobs. I absolutely love Josh Jacobs this week. How can you not? I think Cincinnati's like fourth worst in run defense DVOA, and they give up a ton of passes to running back. So it should just be Josh Jacobs all day.
Yeah. Did you answer this Pixie question about Pollard?
Thoughts on Pollard? I am the receiver punt whisperer, I guess, but no, I'm not going to use Pollard. Go to Mostert there if you need to dumpster dive for a running back. I don't know.
Don't play backup running backs. That's
Mostert gets snaps. That's why I like that. It's like for Pollard to get in the game, the only way that your lineup has success is if Dallas is up 30-0. So
and he breaks a 60-yarder.
Yeah, I don't do that. Just go with a guy. If you're punting at running back, go to somebody that's actually on the field often, and Mostert will be that guy for you. Or just use Miles Sanders at 4,100 now that Jordan Howard's been ruled out.
So you want tight ends that are a lock for attorney?
Goddard.
There's Goddard. Yeah, there's a lot of tight ends I like this week, guys. I like it's probably what you. I'll just go down the list a little bit. I like Mark Andrews. I like Jared Cook. I like Olsen a bit. I like Goddard. I've been talking to him. I like Dwelly a lot, and I like Ryan Griffin. So those are my tight ends. Why don't you take a look at whatever quarterback you're playing and try and pair up one of those tight ends with him? If it is one, like if you're playing, Jackson, you can go Andrews. But I'm high on Dwelly. I'm playing Dwelly. He was my number one write-up. So that's
I think Hawkinson's a great tournament too for great tournament tight end.
Pixie said, "Who's the Slayton call?" Wasn't it a McLaurin? Is that your Slayton call?
No, because he's 5,600. I'd be a coward if I said that.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time with this. I wanted it to be Chris Conley, but I like DD more.
Traquan. Was it Traquan?
Traquan scores a touchdown. I don't know if I could ride that for my. This is tough.
Another tight end that we talked about earlier that was sneaky.
Can I just go Goddard? Can I just say Goddard is my wide receiver guy, like pass catcher? That's my call this week is Dallas Goddard, especially with Alshon out. Man, I could talk about Goddard all day. Watch him get 2 catches and ruin my my credibility here, but I just don't see how Goddard doesn't have 10+ points on DraftKings, which is like 4x value for him, or 12 points, so 4x value. That's what I'll say.
This is the guy I wrote down we were talking about, Darren Fells on Houston.
Yeah. That's right. He makes a lot of sense too.
I'm going to play some Darren Fells, me and nobody, and hopefully I get lucky there. But I'm trying to win the 300,000. I'm trying to be like Javier. We're wrapping it up for week 11, guys. Let's go make some lineups. Let's go make
what's your sexy six? We got to get off of the trademark here.
Okay. Oh man, you heard
I'll go first.
You heard the close coming. All right. So I like CMC. He's 100% lock. I like Brian Hill. He's 100% lock. I don't care if they're chalk. I'm hoping people are talking themselves off it this morning, like people tend to do. Josh Jacobs. Those are my three main running backs. I'm going to have them in the majority of my teams, and they do make my sexy six. I am going to have to go with Calvin Ridley. I love Ridley this week. He's underpriced in a game where the Atlanta Falcons are going to have to funnel it to him and Julio with no Sanu, with no Hooper, with no Freeman. I do not care if I'm playing Hill and Ridley on the same team with no Matt Ryan. The price is right. I've seen it work. And I'm also going to go with Dwelly at tight end for reasons I mentioned earlier. No Kittle, best matchup, cheapest price. And how can you not love Michael Thomas? So I'll put Michael Thomas in there. There are ways to do it. So those are my 6 favorite plays on the week. What about you?
All right. So again, this is mainly based towards cash, but it is going to be, I'm going to have a lot of these guys everywhere. Lamar Jackson, Josh Jacobs, I'm with you there 100%. Michael Thomas, I feel like on DraftKings, he's a can't miss guy, but I'm going to temper my ownership in Thomas because at 9,900, you really need a touchdown to hit value there. So I don't know. I could see Jared Cook, Traquan, Ted Ginn, Kamara scoring touchdowns. I may get a lot more Kamara now that you talk about him too. And those props, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Thomas is in my sexy six. He's a can't miss guy. Chris Godwin, my boy Dallas Goedert, and then James White. I will have a lot of exposure to New England, Philly today.
Do the Carolina Panthers wide receivers break our hearts today? That's my big question.
So you're fading too, right?
I'm not fading. No, I don't. I'm gonna play it reluctantly. They're in a great spot, so you can't get away from it. I'm fading Allen, the quarterback, but I do like Moore. I do like Samuel, and I love CMC.
Yeah, I think I'm going to use DJ Moore for cash. At 30% ownership, he'll probably be 50% in cash games, so you probably have to eat that chalk too.
Yeah.
He's just so underpriced.
We're all going to have a lot of the same lineups this week, boys, but that's okay. Chalk hits sometimes. Chalk's been hitting this year in NFL. It's been hitting in NBA. And hopefully it hits again today with some of these chalk running backs. And hopefully people who didn't watch the show are sitting there trying to make pivots to Joe Mixon right now and getting too cute with himself. So look, thanks for joining us today. It's WInDailySports.com. We do the SiriusXM show on Saturday nights. We're here every Sunday morning. We're posting multiple articles every day. We've got Javier hitting for $140,000 last night.
Yeah, he puts a quarter in, he wins a car. Every time, put a quarter in, win a car. It's like a Vegas vacation. That's hobby.
All right, so this is me and Nick. We're signing off. Good luck to everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Good luck, boys and girls.